Greetings to all Southern Cameroonians. This is King H. There's an article that caught my attention, and this article was written by Mimi Mefo. And the title of this article reads, Cameroon's Anglophone Crisis Ignored at African Union. While Cameroon was voting with all the difficulties, especially in Southern Cameroon, Amazonia, with all the difficulties, and the election was going on, there was something that was going on in Africa that many other activists did not pay attention to, but somebody did, and it caught my attention, and I wanted to speak about this particular article, which reads, Cameroon's Anglophone Crisis Ignored at African Union. Cameroon's Anglophone Crisis Ignored at African Union. As a matter of fact, I saw another very interesting article that I'm also going to talk about. Then I will take my time to discuss. And this article comes from, I think, New York Times. And it's about the revolution. It's about what is happening in Southern Cameroon. So, New York Times had the time to spend some time to look into what is happening inside Southern Cameroon, inside Cameroon, with the revolution and the war. But the African Union, which is supposed to be the governing institution that is supposed to protect the continent of Africa, ignores what is happening inside Southern Cameroon, inside Cameroon, while election was going on with military on the ground in Southern Cameroon. But the African Union, this organization that's supposed to be for the people of Africa, for the continent of Africa, to protect the interests and the people of Africa, completely ignores what is happening in Southern Cameroon. And what was happening since the lockdown has been declared, since the lockdown started February 6th. People have moved out of Southern Cameroon, displaced, they have been internally displaced. Over 9,000 people have been killed, even despite the unfair statement made by Mimi Mefo. She said to over 3,000. Meanwhile, the people who have been killed is over 9,000 people. But the fact is, she had the perspective to bring up this point of view about the fact that the African Union completely ignores what is happening inside Cameroon. This is the issue of the African Union and African leadership. And when some people take their time to discuss what is happening and express themselves in a very vehement way towards these African leaders by insulting their inabilities to lead the people of Africa, some people spend the time to attack activists. ABC Amber TV is supposed to have programs, educative programs, and that would uplift the revolution. But some of the activists spend most time trying to pinpoint other activists and saying negative things about these activists. But I will say this. ABC Amber TV. The revolution will be successful despite the fact that you guys are doing more negative than positive towards the revolution. You have great leaders who are actually raising funds despite the difficulties contributed by this so-called president, Dr. Sako. People are raising money, and when the program DARK will be initiated, more money will be given to that program, and we will support our soldiers, our internally displaced citizens, And all those are going through trauma in the hands of the forces of La Republic du Cameroon, in the hands of Paul Biya's goons. You see, African Union, they choose, those leadership, they choose what to talk about and what not to talk about, especially when the heads of states are doing wrong. When the heads of states are doing wrong, they don't correct them. They don't speak on their mistakes because they support each other. Meanwhile, they're doing that, the citizens of Africa are dying in the hands of these so-called leaders that are supposed to protect the citizens. So African Union is weak. And the African Union is a system that is being controlled by Westerners, by those who have influential pockets. It's being controlled by Russia. It's being controlled by China. It's being controlled especially by the Western nations. The African Union does not have an agenda for the people of Africa. The African Union is weak. And the citizens of Africa must wake up and see the truth of what the African Union stands for. Several issues had been speculated to make the agenda, one being the Cameroon's Anglophone crisis, but that didn't make the agenda. The conflict was not mentioned or highlighted at the opening session of the summit. But the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres spoke on a range of issues, including poverty in Africa, climate challenges, counterterrorism, highlighting the cases of Libya. The Secretary General of the UN spoke about the issue of Libya. As a matter of fact, the UN has no right, no authority, no power to speak over the issue of Libya because they caused the issue of what is happening in Libya. They supported the United States in attacking Libya and taking out Gaddafi. But now they want to be part of the solution to the problem that they started. This is how weak the African Union is. The African Union is just a part of an institution that is being controlled and used by the white supremacy power or the white superiority power, the white structure. The African Union does not give a damn about the citizens of Africa, which means that Southern Cameroonians, the truth is, we cannot go to the African Union to seek for their aid in solving this crisis, this revolution that's going on, this war that's going on in Southern Cameroon. We cannot go through them. We cannot go through ECOWAS either. Neither can we go through the Central African states or Central African countries to solve the problem that is happening inside Cameroon. And you know Cameroon is part of the Central African states or the Central African countries. And they will support President Paul Biya in killing the citizens of Southern Cameroon. So we are left on our own, Southern Cameroonians. We are left on our own. Nobody's going to help us out. There is no Jesus Christ who is coming to save Southern Cameroonians on the city of Southern Cameroon. There is no institution. You can't count on the United Nations. You cannot count on the African Union. You cannot count on any other organization but ourselves. The citizens of Southern Cameroon must depend on each other. And in the process of doing that, we must look into people or groups that are doing more help, that are contributing greatly to the success of our revolution. Only through our determination that we will seek our freedom, or we will have our freedom. But if we would think we're going to depend on any other organization, that's a lie. Even in depending on any other organization, we as the citizens of Southern Cameroon must put the work, must voice out our opinions, must speak boldly, and start necessarily attacking each other. Because they are great leaders who have contributed greatly in this revolution. And one of that leader is Mr. Eric Tato. Raising funds with the difficulties that Dr. Sako has contributed. It's a difficult task, but he is doing it. Dr. Sako did what he did for his own stomach, for his own belly. And the ABC Amber TV is standing behind Sako because they are benefiting from it. We have to speak the truth and see the truth for what it is. Nobody's gonna save Southern Cameroonians, but Southern Cameroonians. We must stand for ourselves and speak for ourselves and defend ourselves by making sure that we fund the revolution, but funding the revolution through the right channel that will make sure that the money that is being funded will be used for the purpose it was funded for, not for some greedy, sucking vampires who see their own people who are dying daily, but will take the money and use for themselves instead for the revolution. Southern Cameroonians, life is war. Life itself is war. That's what the Chinese believe. That's what the world believes. That's why you see the world fighting so many wars day in and day out. You see so many other countries creating wars so day in and day out, because in war they make money. But you need the right reasons to fight a war. With the wrong reason, you will not win the war. We have the right reason for fighting for this revolution. And as a matter of fact, we were not the one that declared war on the other side. They did. President Paul Biya declared war on Southern Cameroonians. And it is our duty, it's our birthright to defend ourselves, because we are a human being. We are human beings. It's our birthright to defend ourselves from any attacker or infiltrator or criminal soldiers who are out to eradicate and wipe out our people. So with the process of setting up DARK, Mr. Eric Tato is doing a great job in raising money and making sure that the money goes where it's supposed to go. Which is why so many people are rallying behind him, because with such great leadership, he might not see himself as a leader, but he is a leader. With such great leadership, we, the people of Southern Cameroon, will do the job by supporting our fighters, supporting our soldiers. When our soldiers take down those forces of La Republic, when they eradicate them, when they wipe them out and push them out of our 14 counties, then we'll be bold enough, we'll be strong enough to push the war into La Republique du Cameroon turf. We must think ahead. We must think forward. The war cannot continuously be fought within our territory. We must make sure that we liberate our counties and push the war into Yaoundé, into Douala, into any part of La République du Cameroon, and make sure that war stays there. That is something that we can do when DARC is put in place. And it's being put in place. The process, the steps are being taken. Because the people believe in what Mr. Eric Tato is doing. And because they believe in what he is doing, they say it, they act. Action speaks boldly. How much money has ABC with Chris Arnold raised recently? How much money has Dr. Sako raised recently? But because the people believe in Eric Tato and believe in what he's doing, and they see the action as he's doing it, they are supporting it, and it is growing. And in doing so, as we continue to do that, those weak voices that are not speaking for the people, that are not standing for the people, that are only standing behind a certain person claiming that they are institution. Institution means nothing when you're not accomplishing anything. We need to accomplish agendas, different types of agendas that we set and push forward to make sure that this revolution succeeds. But I don't give a damn what the African Union thinks. I don't give a damn if the African Union doesn't highlight the Southern Cameroon issues, because the people of Southern Cameroon will fight for their independence and gain it. It's a dog-eat-dog world. You want to survive, you must stand for something or fall for nothing. This is King H. Till next time.